Ignore the messy workbench. Kid broke his arm the other day on his dirt bike. The new KTM shreds, but make sure your kid actually uses the brakes. Anyway, couple things. So wanted to talk about, just really quick, the two different rugged radio mounts that I have in the 2X3s. They came out with a new top mount that, instead of mounting it in the spot of the media thing or the tablet holder, which I really like, one of the things I did was put a Blue Sea Systems fast charge USB in mine and wired that directly to the battery, so I can have always on charging for my USB devices. I got a lightning cable and then a micro USB in there. Just kind of a nice to have. So let's talk about the actual mounting location. So in this car, which was the first one that I did, I went ahead and I did the center console mount. I really like this one. A stupid thing to not do for sure would be, don't put your microphone jack and your fancy flush mount jack thing, don't put it right here, because whenever you put it in park, you can't leave your headset connected. I've thought about getting the B&M shifter for this, but it's $400 and I can plug and unplug to save myself $400, especially right now with the way things are going. So I like this mount. One of the things I like the most about it is whenever you're in the car, because I've still got the factory seats in here, whenever you're in the car, your leg is not, there's no sharp edges really for it to bump into. I've never had scrapes on my knee from the plastics and all that kind of thing. And if you do the finishing kit with it, you can see, how nicely it actually comes out, and, nice finished looking center console. The metal is pretty soft. And it does flex, and your knee flexes against it, or at least my knee flexes against it. I'm about 6'1", and I really don't mind. I like the way it looks. I like, the relocation of the stop button, and it keeps things a little bit lower in the car. I will say it's a little bit more wiring, because I ended up wiring it. So I did one of the reasons I did the top mount, or the top mount for the radio in the 2-seater, is because I really like the idea of quicker and easier wiring, and it's way quicker. I use a cigarette lighter outlet in it. I did ground it. I did shorten the cigarette lighter wiring harness. I bought all that stuff from Rugged, which, is Rugged definitely charges a premium for their stuff. But they make pretty nice stuff, and, they're effectively, I do have my amateur radio license, but they're effectively letting us use the Rugged bands that they've purchased as commercial bands, I think. Somebody, that's more, I've at least read that. I haven't really looked into that. I haven't even asked Rugged about it, but I'm sure if you're super concerned about it, you could go ahead and, contact them and find out. But really clean install, and really, nice looking. Hides all the different wiring and all that kind of stuff, because I've got a 4-person setup in this car. I don't have the Bluetooth unit, and honestly, I never listen to music whenever I'm in these things. So I know a lot of guys do, and I know that's fun. It's maybe I'll start doing it, now in the future. I'm more of a podcast guy, and I don't really, something about, bombing through trails and all that kind of stuff, and your X3 doesn't scream, sit there and listen to your favorite podcast. But yeah, super clean install. Really like it. Everything's in good, easy to reach location. I do have the covers for the Rugged stuff. Those Scosche covers, I'm not super impressed by those. For $50 US each, they are, the magnets should not fall out of them. And I'll show you, I've got one sitting on the dash and in the other car. But these are really, really great, little units for, they do keep your stuff waterproof, or they keep the water off of it whenever you're washing the unit. And obviously I have not washed this one since the last time I accidentally bombed it in. No, it wasn't an accident. I went way too fast into a mud puddle, and I should have known better. But I really like it. Rugged's been great. All their stuff is excellent, and it works, and it's easy to use. RT Systems is what you want to go to if you want to program additional channels and all that kind of thing. They've got all the, or frequencies. They've got all of the main ones that you're going to use in off-road racing and all that kind of stuff. I'm not racing, but they've got all the channels in there already programmed. And so let's go ahead and take a look at the way that it looks in the two-seater. So if you take a look at this, totally different mounting solution, right? Here's the magnet that actually goes in those fancy Scotch things. I'm just gonna do the ultimate fix of JB welding it in there. Couple things with this mount. So it is considerably quicker to get this installed. All you have to do is actually cut or you don't even have to really shorten the harness. You just need to make sure you get everything tucked up and out of the way so that you can put all this stuff in there. And it is super easy. Now I did do it kind of the lazy way, and I've got some wire, cables that are just kind of floating around, but all I ended up doing was actually drilling a hole in the flat part of the, where that media console is on the other one, where I installed the Blue Sea Systems, USB thing in the other car. I literally just drilled a hole in that. And then after doing that, I was able to drop all the wiring through and then tuck it and then run it back in the channels. And you can see I've got, all my radio wires. I got them zip tied to, the back of the roll bar right here. So it kind of keeps them nice out of the way. But, you can move around and look around with your head. No problem with that. Things that I'm not as impressed with, the actual fit of the way that the radio went in. I ended up having to do all different kinds of janky stuff to get this to actually space correctly left to right, so that the brackets, where there's these two L brackets back behind here on each side, I had to do all different kinds of stuff to actually get this RM60 radio to fit. I don't know why. Strangely enough, actually, I can't remember if it was the radio or if it was the intercom that was the problem, but one of them was a pain in the butt, and it was kind of annoying. This mount up here is not free. You're definitely spending some coin for this. I can't remember how much it was. It was $60 to $100. I really don't remember. The other thing is, with it is you really need to, I'm running it on the 4-seater. You really should put one of those Baja boots in there. I have it for this. I haven't put it on, but the radio's still working just fine. And I'll show you why I think it's so important. It's important in either one, but because the back of them are not waterproof and these cars are relatively low to the ground. And I don't drive through water a lot, but I do wash my car once in a while. I didn't wash it after the last trip because my kid, he broke his arm. So it was, all hands on deck, go to the, urgent care and x-ray and all that kind of stuff. But, you can see all the gaps that are in here and how big the gaps are between, the way the radio mounts and, so you really have a lot of possibility for water intrusion and all that kind of stuff. I bought some really thick gasketing foam and I need to pull it anyway to install the Baja boot. It's super easy to actually install this thing, which again is why I got it. I did ground it and I just ran the power right to the cigarette lighter. I haven't really tested the range. Our two cars aren't ever more than, a mile or two apart, depending on where we're at on the trail and all that kind of stuff. But it's really not it really hasn't been an issue as far as range. These are, I actually had an order from Rugged come in. These are the things I'm not super thrilled with. The magnets have come out on the magnets that came out on the other ones, and then I've got to mount my pumper for the 2-seater, and then this is the Baja boot. It's literally a neoprene boot. You run all your wiring through the two sides and put that over the back of the radio, and that should keep most of, or at least a lot of, the spray and splashes and all those type of things out of the back of the radio. These things are expensive. Let's keep them working, right? But again, here's the magnet from you know, those $50 Scosche mount things that say Rugged Radios on them. So kind of bummed about that, but you know, nothing a little JB Weld can't fix. Just I'd rather not be fixing something that's $50 for a molded piece of plastic with a gasket in it. So really like the Rugged setup. I know a lot of guys are using, which is a super smart idea, I know a lot of guys are just using the like Sena Bluetooth communicators and all that kind of stuff, because the range on those things is fantastic and those are way cheaper. But whenever you think about, I've got, you know, I've got 6 seats, and we don't always wear helmets. If we're, you know, just out doing a slow trail ride, we don't always wear helmets. And so whenever we're not wearing a helmet, we have the headsets. So, you know, it's tough, but it's really nice to be able to talk whenever you're in these things, because they are loud. Especially the 4-seater. I've got the Trail Quiet exhaust on the 4-seater, but it's still super loud. It's actually quiet and pretty good under 5,500 RPM, but once you hit 5,500, man, it screams. That's the radios. They're great. They're expensive. They're totally worth it. They make it more fun whenever you're out on the track and that kind of stuff, because then I can talk trash to my wife whenever she's slow, but I better be careful because she's a lot more determined than I am, so she's probably going to end up being faster than me one day. I hope, right? Yeah, good stuff. Guys, ride safe, drive safe, be safe, and take care of yourselves, take care of your families. Please like and subscribe. Give me some comments, ask me questions. Audio filters, ferrite chokes, also important. Put those in. You don't have to buy the Rugged ones. You can buy way cheaper ferrite chokes on Amazon or eBay. Anywhere, literally, it's a magnet that goes around your wires. Put them on both ends, and then, you know, figure out some noise filters. There's 10 million of them out there that you can buy for super cheap, and not spend the extra money. So rock on, guys. Talk to you later.